I'm going to call the meeting to order. Notice of this meeting has been provided to the public in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act by publication in South Jersey Times and the Elmer Times newspaper circulated in Salem County, and by posting a notice in the Salem County Clerk's office and the SCIA offices in Salem. Copies of the board minutes and a video of this meeting will now be posted on SCIANJ.com. Please join me in a flag salute. You too, Sue.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Susan Bestwick.
Here.
Ron Howard. Present. Lou Schneider.
Here.
Peter Vorhos. Chairman Woodfield.
Here. Then we have a quorum. And the minutes on tab 1. Minutes of the September 22nd meeting. I had a little question. I think just a knot has been excluded on page 4, fourth paragraph down, last sentence. Taxes only on the landfill property, and is it not on other properties, or is it?
Yeah, that was actually an addition that was put in there. I saw that today when I read the minutes.
Okay.
That was something.
But it's not on other properties. I think we're still paying taxes on other properties.
Correct.
Any additions, or I'll take a motion for approval.
A motion we approve the minutes.
So moved.
Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All in favor? Solid Waste Division. Melinda.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's okay. Good evening, everyone.
Oh,
You have my written report in front of you. If you have any questions about that, you can ask. It's quite large. I'm trying to keep it to 4 pages, so I'm not going to go to the dark side of 5. I'd like to point out, on the graphs, they're hard to read, but I actually have my input sheet, and revenue is up compared to last year at the same time by over 10,000. Municipal tonnage, interestingly enough, is almost exactly the same, which blows me away. So municipal tonnage is very consistent. It's only off by a half of a ton compared to the
so
same
it's the
time
rate
last year.
The rate increase is the difference?
No, tonnage.
I mean, the tonnage is the same, but the increase,
Tonnage is
the
the same.
revenues went up.
Tonnage is the same. Down on 13C, and your construction demolition is down probably 200 tons compared to last year. Other tonnage is up a little over 500 tons. And the convenience center revenue is up almost 1,000 tons, okay? Or $1,000, excuse me, not tons, $1,000. And I know you were saying that it's hard to read the graphs, so I thought if I actually gave you the numbers, that would help a little bit. Okay. Any questions about the graphs or my written report?
On the vertical expansion, section 3, paragraph 3.
Mhm.
We believe, it's the last sentence, we believe that some customers have not been going elsewhere.
Oh, have been.
Okay, I think
Sorry.
the not from this.
Where's my red pen?
The not from the minutes got included on
sorry.
this one.
No, we believe they have been. We know for sure that
I
we've
thought
lost
they
our
had been.
open top walking floor customers.
So the not got shipped.
Have been, sorry. I apologize. And I do
Uh-huh.
proofread this. Of course, not is a word, so it's not gonna come up on spell check. But,
I have a couple theories. On
yeah,
the gov deals, this grinder you sold for $32,000,
yes, we did.
they haven't picked it up yet, is right?
No.
Okay.
But
However,
we've been paid, right?
but Gov Deals has been paid. We have not received the check from Gov Deals as yet, but that will be coming shortly.
And
There is a issue with the fact that it has to come apart and he has to take it out of here in 3 different shipments. So he's logistically trying to work that out.
And the other part about the plastic, I love this plastic project, this agricultural plastic, but we're going to have to rent.
We rent a 42-foot boom forklift, which is, the money is taken from the grant. It's all been set aside to rent it, like once a month. I set that up in advance with the grant. So we're not using SCIA money, we're using that grant money for that.
And you're just renting it on the day you need it.
Only rent it for the week that we're gonna be loading. And that runs about 1,300. Yeah, eventually we'd like to buy one, but it's not in the list.
Yeah, because that certainly would kill the, whatever money you're making off the bales real quick, right? It's
Well,
probably-
you know what, we're making money on the tipping fee coming in,
Yeah. I
okay,
get that.
which also helps for the labor, for the manpower cost. Yeah.
Now, since Debbie's not here, we can, you had some comment about the electric.
So we have a little voltage concern, which is the
Yeah,
same voltage
paragraph
concern.
4.
Yeah. The voltage from the transformer down to the motor savers at the pump station is fluctuating. So the motor savers are kicking it off and not letting the pumps start up. We could not test the pumps in cell 9 because of that. So we have DCO coming out tomorrow. I'm trying to set up a meeting with DCO and ACE, Chalmings, T&M, and Alimo, and us to figure out what the voltage problem is so we can get it fixed. But they're gonna come out and check the voltage again. They may have to regulate, change the regulator on their side because they're really responsible.
You mean DCO?
DCO. Because there's nothing wrong with the transformer or the voltage coming out of the transformer, so there's something else going on. And the adjustment of the regulator on their side may have to be done. But I believe somebody's coming out tomorrow to look at that.
It could be just a tap on the transformer to change those voltages.
Yeah, but we gotta get it fixed
But-
because in cell 8, we reset the settings on the motor saver to allow the voltage fluctuation. And you don't wanna do that because now we're gonna just burn the pumps up faster, so we need to get it fixed, so. And in this motor saver in cell 9, you can't do that, you can't change the settings. So as soon as we get the voltage issue taken care of, then we can have them back so we can do our startup on the pumps.
Will that hold up starting up landfill?
If
for
we
cell-
don't get it
cell
done,
9?
if we don't get it done by the last week of October, yes. Because that's when we estimate the cell will be approved and we'll be able to start putting stuff,
Yeah, so
Tech 10 in there.
get that group together. Sounds like a good group that can solve that problem. Anything else on that report?
I see a lot of red bars
I
over
don't
there.
know.
Ooh, that's scary. Ron, do you
there
have
was
any
a-
questions?
There was an
Sure.
attaboy for landfill supervisor, and I have one also. You've done a great job.
Yeah,
Thank you.
he is. A lot of compliments about him. Of course, I don't know, Arizona Instrument might not feel that way, but
The DCO Energy Partners, they're the ones that are having this problem with the,
well, the
on
DCO
page
Energy,
3 of your.
yeah, the DCO Energy people, they want to point the finger at ACE, and ACE is coming back because they came out and actually tested the transformer and told Ludi that it is not their problem. It goes back to DCO. So there's a lot of finger pointing that goes on when this happens, but they are responsible for the generation at the generator, taking the gas and making electricity and sending it to the grid.
And all we do is pay them.
We pay them for the lease payment of the land that they use for the generator, and we get a discount.
We pay them,
I mean, they pay us, it's a lease payment for the land that they're leasing that the generator's on, and we get a discount on the transmission of our electricity from ACE,
on the transmission.
on the transmission only. And I can't really tell you what reduction it is, because I'm still trying to figure the bill out, and I've asked several times, and they can't really explain it to me, so I really can't quantify that.
Well, on your last sentence, I reminded DCO at our meeting this morning that we are spending more money on these additions to the landfill to get more gas out of the landfill than we were receiving in revenue from the generator lease.
I believe that's true.
And how long is that lease?
20 years. Comes up in 2026.
20 years. Is that tied in with Finland?
No. Actually, no, that was prior to.
No,
That was Mr. Chapman. That was Mike Chapman that signed that contract. I believe it was 2006.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that date.
Anything else on the landfill manager's report? Hearing no
Thank
objection,
you.
I'll have that received and filed. You have the engineer's status report? Any questions on that? And there's some minutes or agendas from the landfill progress meetings. PKT is closed out completely.
Yes.
Retainage paid?
I don't know about that, I don't pay the bills, but as far as work for the tank, it's completed. The new transducer is put in. Seems to be
Okay.
working properly, right, Lindy?
Yes.
Anything more on the engineer's report? Hearing none, I'll have the reports received and filed. I hope I'm in the right order on the agenda. There's a resolution of the Salem County Improvement Authority authorizing transfer of line item amounts in the 2014 solid waste division budget. $25,500 for marketing and sales to equipment maintenance or methane gas, legal advertising, and office expenses. And there's a letter justifying those transfers from our manager of landfill operations. And what's the resolution number?
92.
92. I'll take a motion to approve that.
Make a motion. Motion made.
Have a motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I just had one question. What furniture were you replacing?
I'm sorry,
I said furniture also?
I don't believe it's any
No.
furniture.
I thought you said
For
furniture.
the
office
equipment,
expenses.
maintenance, yeah, methane gas line item, there may be some paper for office supplies, and what was the other fourth one, Bob?
The office expenses were for more hard copy statements and invoices were needed to be printed and mailed when the computer network operation impacted the ability to email
We
these
used more
documents.
paper and envelopes and postage because the computer was down for 4 months and wouldn't email the statements and invoices out. Yeah, so it wasn't budgeted for 4 additional months of that. No furniture, except we did get 2 chairs for the scale house, but those have been purchased and are out in the scale house.
Okay, resolution 93. Resolution of the Salem County Improvement Authority authorizing payment of bills for the solid waste division. Now therefore be it resolved by the SCIA that these bills totaling $1,342,921.70 be approved for regular payment by check, and bills in the amount of $49,325.20 be approved for electronic payments, and bills in the amount of $6,317.50 be approved by manual check. There you have the bill list. Take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
For a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Move to tab 3. Tab 3, it's a resolution, it's 94, I guess. Resolution of the Salem County Improvement Authority authorizing payment of bills for the Economic Development Division. Now therefore be it resolved by the SCIA that these bills totaling $137 be approved for regular payment by check and $0 for electronic or manual. And this was for expenses of some sort, I guess.
You have any idea? Why Debbie's getting 137, is that phone or is that,
It's usually mileage.
I saw the purchase order, it was reimbursable expenses.
motion, Lee? There you go.
Have a motion, is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nothing for the nursing home, tab 5 next. We have committee reports. We'll start with executive committee. Member Bestwick, you have anything?
Yes, Debbie and I met a week ago. 99% of what we spoke about had to do with the budget, which we'll be speaking to later, as well as the transition plan for Mary Ann. And also the report That audit report is, again, still underway, almost complete.
Yes, and we're working on the host community benefits for Alloway.
Oh, yeah, and again, I think we're going to be speaking to that later on as well.
Yes. All right, Personnel Committee.
Well, we
Mr. Howard?
really want to meet, but the same recommendations that we made last month, we still need labor, part-time labor. We're booking for there quite a while, an assistant, administrative assistant lead, and equipment operator. I think, have we seen any applications on them yet? or-
We promoted our full-time laborer who got his CDL to the equipment operator, the full-time equipment operator position, so that's been filled.
We did them last month.
Yes. We were seeking a full-time laborer, and our part-time laborer came up and filled out an application for the full-time laborer position, so we would like to promote him to the full-time laborer position, but he didn't do it before we advertised, and we took one other application in, so now we're gonna be interviewing both of those candidates. So now we're looking for a part-time laborer, okay? And I believe the Finlaw Building is looking for an administrative assistant.
All these needs been advertised already, or?
Don't know if the administrative assistant has been advertised. There's also, wasn't there an ad out for the bookkeeper for the Finlaw Building as well?
That's
Yes,
been out for
that's
a
been out for a
while.
while.
Yeah. We have not advertised for the part-time labor position that just came up.
That's all I have.
And the administrative assistant,
I don't believe they've advertised for that yet. That came up
it's just
quite
been,
quickly.
we're on our second this week. Second temporary for trial. Mary Ann is done tomorrow. Anything else?
That's it.
Solid Waste Committee, see an agenda from a meeting. Anything you want to elaborate on?
No, not necessarily.
Okay,
I mean,
you covered most everything, I
the
think.
TKT, the leachate tank is completed, and cell 9 is complete technically. I know that the report package was given to the DEP on Monday, and Jeff Winiger followed up to make sure that they had received it, and it was not on Janice's desk. So Mike Gershman had someone go find it, and he found it and made sure it got to Janice on Tuesday. I just heard today that Janice has now given that to Mike Gershman and Mary Ann, which are both her supervisors, and they have also gone to Ross Hull, who was actually on site here to see what was going on for Janice. He's going to review it starting tomorrow.
Good, so it's on fast track. Good. Let's see, county solid waste meetings with NJDEP Bureau of Planning and Licensing.
Yeah, that was the bureau chief, Deborah Pinto, and Najwa Ali, which is our landfill planner. That took place, and it was a great meeting. Basically, they just wanted to come down, see our location. She's new in that department, so she wanted to meet us and us to meet her. She used to be with the CHA. So we've had interactions with her before in the past, but not in that capacity. They talked a little bit about our debt, which is minimal compared to every other county in the state. And also brought up the fact that she's in charge of the licensing and permits department as well. So I had some concerns, and I addressed my concerns with her about the online. They want everybody to submit online and to do electronic payments. We have farmers who don't even have a computer who would not be able to do that. So they need to have an option of having both and not just one or nothing. So she did write that down and took that under advisement. But it was a great meeting. It was good to interact with them.
Who's the county food waste recycling questions? Who are they?
I supplied those to them in a
Oh, same group?
questionnaire, in a written questionnaire. That's the third time that I've submitted it to the state.
The recycling paper.
Yes.
Innovation and technology.
Nothing to report.
Okay.
Trial is still going on, so.
Are there any objections to the, or conditions, any changes to the committee reports? Hearing none, I'll have the reports received and filed. Have the executive director's report, tab 6. I had a question about the SBA letter, but she has followed that up with something in your packages tonight, I guess.
You mean the memo?
Yes.
Yes, I received that by email today, and Debbie indicated it would be in the packets today.
And that should be discussed to some other committee. I'm sure that it'd be nice to get out of that lease if it's good for the authority.
Yes, if you'd like me to.
Yeah, would you please?
I do
Sue
have-
hasn't seen the letter.
Sure. SBA has, I don't know if they contacted us or if we contacted SBA.
Looked like initially they contacted us last year, and there was some, they came out with a low number, or some other group came out with a low number, and it was rejected by the authority.
So there are negotiations between SCIA and SBA for a potential, for renegotiation of the lease, which could,
That's the lease for the phone system, the tower on site, I
the
guess.
cell tower, right. SBA has given us two alternatives, but really there are three alternatives. We can just continue with the lease as it is, or they have offered to create a perpetual communications easement over the land with a lump sum payment today, and then we would continue to own the land. Another option is that we change the terms of the current lease to extend it to a 99-year term with a partial buyout. So both of these options, bottom line, we get a lump sum payment in exchange for giving up some of our rights under the lease, under long-term rights under the lease. So I just received the lease today. I would like some time to look at the lease, look at the documents, and also talk to the accountants to determine what the effects, the tax aspects are before I.
It seems like there's some problems with transferring our property, how the money goes. There's some issues with it, I guess, but they can be worked out.
Right.
For the second option, there's no problem with that, it sounds like. But it needs further review. It's not for tonight.
Right, I'll continue to look at it, and I'll give you an update, after I've had a chance to talk to everyone about it, if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Thanks.
Any question about the executive director's report? Hearing none, I'll have the report received and filed. Unfinished business. We have a host community economic benefit agreement, and I don't see a new letter. Have you received a letter yet? Okay, well, let's recap what happened. Alloway and the Improvement Authority have been working on renegotiating the agreement, the host community benefits agreement, for a few years. We have the township came back with one that I have on my file as a September 26th letter. There was some problems with that. On the number one, the tonnage, if it's all revenue derived, we're paying for recycling money and some cover material. So we've asked that it be changed to exclude recyclables and cover material. And on item 2 of that same letter is, in order to avoid the necessity to renegotiate the contract on a repetitive basis, the committee proposes that of January 2018, the payment per ton be increased by the same percentage the authority increases its tipping fees. We propose that it be similar to what it is now. Every 4 years we look at it and pay Alloway the average of the 4-year increases in our rates. If our rates go up 2%, 2% every 4 years, every year for 4 years, Alloway gets a 2% increase in their cost per ton.
I'll make sure I understand that.
I'm not sure I understood exactly how you said that.
Yes, well, if our rates, the way I understand it, if our rates go up 2%, and 2% makes it easy, 2% every year for 4 years, you get the average of the 4 years. So you would get the 4 year, or you would get 2 years. Our
In this
average
case,
thing-
it's averages 2.
Our average would be
Just
two, I'm doing these for easy numbers. Our average would be 2% increase, and you would get 2% on the $2.61 or whatever that is.
Where in reality, you, over a 4-year period, if you raised it 2% every year, that's 8%.
Well, it's the average, or we're going the average.
But you wanna,
Yeah, some don't make sense.
I'm not understanding that. You're just picking like 1 year.
No, it's the 4 years, all 4 years, or
Okay.
5 years.
Take 4 years, you went up 8%.
Divided
So
by
out,
4
what would
years.
Outlay get 2%? Because it went up 2% each year?
That's the average. Yeah, you have to, you add them up and then you
Yeah,
divide them for the average.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's not keeping up. It's not keeping pace. We wanna keep pace with where we are, so that we don't end up with where we are now, where we're working on $1988. You see what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's what's the counter and,
Okay, well,
and I
I'll
thought
have
you
to get back
accepted
to you,
that.
I guess.
Okay, so that's off the
Yeah,
table.
I may have misunderstood.
Yeah, it's
I
just,
thought we were just gonna take the
No, we-
percentage and do it every 4 years instead of every year.
no, it's the average of the 4 years. And it works out to a bit more than you are now with the current agreement, or the one that expired in 2012. So,
So what you're asking is that if we raise 2%, you go up 2%. It's almost like a profit sharing thing. So,
Yeah, I mean, we continue to be the host community.
uh,
We have this eyesore in our backyard. We have the trash trucks in our town, in the center of our town every
The
day.
eyesore?
Is it not in our yard?
no,
In
yeah,
our
it's an
town?
eyesore. We
Yeah.
think it looks pretty nice.
Well, it depends if you're one of our neighbors looking in, it might not look nice.
But
But
they're from
anyway,
Bennington though.
we have it to live with. And if it's worth $273 in 2014 dollars, it should keep pace as it goes on, not keep falling further behind every year. I mean, if it was worth 60,000 in 1988, that's
Well,
a hundred-
60,000 is off, that's not.
I
in
know,
the
that's
agreement.
all. But my point is, 60,000 in 1988, if that's what it was worth, it's not worth any more than 60,000 in 2015. No one in this room is deriving the same revenue or income that they did in 1988 if they're working at it. Yeah. So it's just like fuel, gas. It's a cost of doing business in this township. That's how I see it. I don't think it's fair to just, let's just keep going backwards. Because we're gonna wind up in the same place in 20 years.
Well, I hope we get to where we're approving it before that time.
Oh, I do too.
So this is off the table. We have to go back to negotiations on this, so that's.
Yeah, I misunderstood.
was the first part of that, number one, something that was agreeable? About excluding the cover and the other?
We
Just,
We
I'm not
agreed,
committing to that.
we agreed that we'll go with what that offer was, number one.
okay,
The whole thing right now is just this percentage.
okay.
That's the only sticking point, which I misunderstood you in our conversation, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. Unfinished business. Is there another motion?
What's this I'm looking at here? They want to hire somebody here?
What do you want?
8, at 8, let's see what's it. They had a season helper, they want to hire back Thomas Guard.
Yeah, well, we're still on unfinished.
Yeah, I don't think you've gotten up there yet.
Okay.
Is this our contract for
Yes.
executive director? I'm just not seeing it in here, but,
No, it's not in there. It's one we discussed at the executive committee meeting. You have that from last meeting?
Well, I guess the contract that we proposed last meeting, I don't have it in front of me, but
There you go. You have them. Okay, this is the same we discussed in the executive session last meeting. And I'll
you need a motion to.
make a motion to approve that agreement.
I'll make a motion that we approve that agreement that we renew executive director's contract.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
If I talked to everyone, I don't think we did, but whether she would accept more hours or more pay, or would this go this way or in person?
Well, it was changed a few months ago, 2 months ago, to make it a part-time position.
I'm questioning, asking, did anybody discuss this with her since last meeting?
And I haven't.
I have not.
All right, so nobody has, okay.
I do have a question.
Yes.
The 30 hours and 15 hours of 8 and 5 p.m., you know, that's a 9-hour stretch. You could theoretically do your work in 4 days and not show up 1 day of the week.
That's part-time.
All right, so that's perfectly agreeable?
Yeah. Yeah, the position has changed into a part-time after we got rid of the nursing home and the economic development division. The number of employees dropped from 125 to under 30 now. There was, there's a lot of changes. And it warrants a part-time position, and this agreement would satisfy that. And we agreed 2 months ago to make it a part-time position, so these are just the conditions to set forth that position.
Sharon, may I respond to Mr.
Sure.
Howard's question? If this is approved today, this is the contract that would be offered to Debbie, and as part of the negotiations, to continue to negotiate her contract. She could either accept it, reject it, or we could continue negotiations. This is not the final that has to be accepted if you vote on it today. It's just to begin the negotiations to make the offer to her with this contract.
Okay, we have a motion second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
One opposed. You're opposed?
Yes.
And the motion passes?
Can we get an aye from you?
Yes, I'm an aye. And new business. Yes, something on new business. This is tab 8. And these may be out of order, but I have the SBA communication for the first item. What do you think? You had something you wanted to bring up about?
Oh, yeah, they have one of our part-time helper. Thomas Garlic, is the former
Thomas
worker.
Garlic was a seasonal summer worker that was here for 11 weeks. His last day was the last Monday of September. We wanted to bring him back as a laborer to help us bridge the gap because we're short 2 employees at this moment while we're interviewing and hiring these new people.
Second part-time.
It's actually full-time for 11 weeks.
He's here right now, or?
No, his last day was the last Monday of September, so he's been out for 2 weeks. He's a hard worker, great team player, great with the baler and the labor position.
Is he gonna apply for the job too, full-time, or?
No, he's actually off for this year to save up money to go to college. He wants to be a mechanic.
He's been going to college, right? Or
No,
he continuing?
just graduated from high school,
Okay.
and then he's gonna go to college next year.
So it's just a part-time position?
It's a full-time position. It's a Monday through Friday, but it's for 11 weeks. So it's a temporary full-time position. I guess you could
Temporary is
say.
the word.
Yeah.
I haven't seen, that's way in the back of the section.
recommend that we hire.
Were you asking me, Ron?
No, so I would
Oh,
recommend we
yeah,
hire.
okay.
There.
Ludi, is there anything you'd like to add?
No,
Okay.
he's a good, real good worker. I'd love to see him back.
If he wasn't gonna go to college,
No,
I would really like to, yeah, he's a good worker. He's got a couple of really good ones as well.
it would be interested in the full-time position, or we've taken him as well.
Yeah, but
Like, easily.
Okay, we have a motion from Member Howard to hire back Thomas Garlick as a temporary employee in a 11-week,
yes,
11-week,
at least 11, so we can, and I guess I should say until we can fill the position of the part-time
that's
laborer.
through the rest of the year,
Okay,
right? I mean, it's,
yeah, that's true.
Second motion.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the new business, I have the SBA communications, we've discussed that a bit. Resolution authorizing the public sale of various surplus equipment deemed not needed for the public use by the Salem County Improvement Authority and to participate in the public sale. These pieces of equipment are a CAT 826 GC. Was that the
That's the compactor, the old compactor.
compactor?
Mhm.
And you have two of them?
No, sir? That is
Says
the
two.
last one that we have.
It says two, that's all.
I don't, I don't have what's in front of you, but it says two. No, we have one CAT, it's an 826G. It's an 826G number two. That means it's a number two, not that there's two units.
Well, in quantity.
No, no, it should be one. Yes, it
Does
should
yours
be
say
one.
two?
Yeah, that should
Yeah,
be
there
one.
should be one.
And you have two floor jacks.
Are they the same floor jacks that we're getting fined for not having a weight limit on them?
What happened was,
Well,
Let's get rid of
the
it.
fine won't happen, right?
no, no.
Probably will not
No.
happen, yeah.
We got 30 days to comply, and we've up to date, we got new jacks in. But there's no warning signs, no nothing on the jack, so the best is buy a new one and everybody's happy, so.
And if you put new signs on the old ones, you have to load test them.
Yep,
Yeah,
So you're
and,
paying for new ones anyway.
yes, because I actually looked out the load test them, and it was, I think, $150 per jack, and the jacks were $200 a jack. It worked out.
so we're really saving money.
Oh, good for you.
Mm.
Okay, I'll need a motion to approve that sale.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution authorizing disposal of surplus, is this the same thing?
Looks like the same thing.
That's the same thing. Or is that the resolution to dispose of?
Looks like the same.
Okay, the other one's not a
The first
resolution.
resolution is just to be participating in it, and the second one is the actual items, I don't know.
One's to sell, one's to put on .gov, I guess.
Which one?
It's still the two cat loaders, so
Looking over your shoulder.
Which tab are we
I don't
on?
know.
Put on number 8.
Resolution doesn't separate, there you go.
One is to sell it, one is to
So
put it on
this says
.gov.
you can do it, and this says this is what we're doing. I guess.
yeah, one
seem
is
repetitive.
authorizing the sale and one is authorized through gov deals.
Oh,
what it is.
and it could be one and the same.
So,
Okay.
so the second one is authorizing
There we go.
disposal of surplus property via govdeals.com.
Yes, two jacks.
And it's the same list, so you have to change the quantity of the cat loader to one. And I'll take a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve.
A second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No one.
Take the hit here. You're good.
Resolution issuing change order number 4 to the contract to construct leachate tank number 2 for the solid waste division landfill. This one we approved last time? The piping change?
I honestly
We
can't.
approved the change order last,
It doesn't look like the same amount of money.
I believe this is the $2,000 for the settlement.
for the piping?
Right, that makes more
Yeah.
sense.
Well, this
Yeah,
is
they
5,000.
wanted 6,000 or something, we
That's
went back to
3,000,
2.
3,025, does that sound good?
And this is just the resolution to confirm that,
Yeah, yes, they changed it from there.
that approval from last meeting.
That's good.
Okay, so I'll take, well, it's the resolution, I read the title, resolution issuing change order number 4 for the leachate tank.
Make that motion.
I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I just wanted to-
Mr. Boris just arrived. Okay, we took care of Thomas Garlick. Authorizing to release bid for stone and excavator.
Bob,
Yes,
I'm looking at that request, it's dated April 7th.
yes.
Is that correct? Or-
Can you
or is it
enlighten
supposed to be
us,
October?
Linda?
What are we
This is
talking
an authorization to release bid for stone and excavators dated April 7th, 2014.
I can't even, I can't elaborate on that. Why would it be April?
It's probably error and date.
Yeah, I would think that's not correct at all.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure so that your price, I just wanted to make sure that this is this is what's going out for bid, that's all.
Yeah,
Well,
it
this is
it
to-
should be October
This
7th.
is to proceed with the purchase of an excavator.
Right, that's correct.
And stone,
Yes, and stone. And it should be October 7th, not April 7th.
okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make it October.
I don't know where you're-
And
And this is from the capital budget for this equipment, for the loader anyway, excavator.
Association letter?
Correct.
And Bob, do you want to explain, or at least have Melinda explain to the rest of the board why we're considering going out for bid to get this excavator during this year's budget?
Because there's a discount of 15% if we buy 3 pieces of equipment in a calendar year in the year. So that's why we were trying to do those 3 pieces, to get that 15% discount.
And the
this-
3 pieces are all with the same vendor?
Yes, and this piece of equipment is easily $225,000, so,
They say 30,000, 30,000.
It's like $35,000 you're gonna save.
as well as the 15% on the other 2 pieces of equipment that we purchased as
As
well.
well as 15 on them also?
Yeah, we already got that discount on them, guaranteeing that we were gonna buy a 3rd one as well.
Oh, so if we don't buy this, we have to pay that
We
back.
could easily have to pay something back, yeah.
I hear a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll
Second,
This is out of capital and it's, there'll be a certification next month that capital has the money in it. Any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? No one? And correspondence? Anything pop out at you? The SBA, the POSHA, that's all taken care of. Will be by the deadline.
Yes.
You've asked for an extension, the 2-week extension,
Yeah, just
Yeah.
on a couple of items
On a
that we had
couple
to
of-
supply.
and did they grant that?
Mhm.
And they will all be completed by that time period, because those penalties look pretty steep.
Yes.
And just beyond that, the landfill penalty and what's that one for?
I don't know. We should have the same thing you guys have, so I know what you
These are
have.
OSHA, what happened?
Where, yeah,
That's the last item,
It's the OSHA, right? Another one?
almost the last item in the, tab 10. Or tab 9.
This one.
There's a penalty calculation form. I think we talked about this last time and agreed to the settlement offer. I think it's just follow-up paperwork for this.
is this the $2,250? Is that what we're talking about?
This is from something that happened in 2012, a deviation report.
Yeah, that's,
Missing deviation report.
yes.
The missing annual certification from 2012, actually it went in late is what it was.
There's letters from the Alloway here, did that get discussed earlier?
Yes.
It's all settled?
No,
Oh. Wow.
but we're not back to base one up.
No. It's a small detail.
Halfway back.
It's a small detail.
Can we settle it tonight?
Maybe we can.
Maybe not.
Maybe we can.
Offer something. Or have you
I
offered?
gave up my item number one all the way. We don't need,
Well,
we didn't mention it in the
Well,
letter.
you gave up a lot, yes. But you asked for a lot initially.
Well, I feel like you guys are, and I've shared it with you, I feel like you've been very diligent about really trying to accommodate us. But it just seems like that what you want to do with number four, or not number four, the 4-year rounding it off, or
Average.
it's just keep moving forward. That's the only sticking point we have. We forget about number one. We don't need the municipal
Do
building
you want
waste
to
company.
plug in a cent amount every year?
No, I like percentages. I like CPI better, but
Well, if you
I'm
did
willing to go away from
percentages,
that.
we had no increases for 4 years or something, so you would have nothing in those, and that's okay.
Five, we didn't increase tipping fees for
5 years, so that could be the scenario.
That's okay. Remember when we talked about CPI, we discussed,
Well, CPI
what if
is
the
not a-
CPI went backwards? Well, then we go backwards. If you guys went backwards,
Yeah, your original agreement was CPI backdated and,
yeah, we're,
you know. And-
if we can
and
get
no one
this
uses the
percentage thing
CPI
ironed
here.
out, I feel like Alloway Township Committee would accept this. We could just take the 273 and make it, whether it's every 4 years, we actually move it the percentage that it actually moved in the 4 years, then we could do that. And that's, I miss
How about half the percentage?
half the percentage of the increase.
If you're gonna add all 4 years instead of the average year, you get half. If it goes up 222, our example, you get a 4% every 4 years.
And the question I would have, let's say that you've gone for 4 years and now we went up to 8, we're gonna give him half of that, all right?
And this is based on,
It's
by the
not
way.
retroactive, it starts in the 5th year, is what you're saying.
Well, when the agreement starts, we track the percentage increase of type 10 municipal waste. We've locked it in on that because rates can change on different types. It was type 10 municipal waste. And in 2018, which I think it's actually 2019 maybe, but whenever the next contract, the 4 years are up, we take those percentage increases and we either add them together, average them, or split them in half, or work out some kind of a deal.
Whatever we do with them, it starts after that 4 years, you said. We'd have to have we're not
Yeah.
looking back the last 4 years and looking at that.
Well, yeah, that's what you're doing. You're
We're
looking
not-
at the last 4 to give them the raise for the next 4.
But we're not looking at 13, 12, 11, and 10. We're not
Oh,
looking
no,
backwards.
no,
We're-
no, that's
We're
all.
starting somewhere, and we're talking about when this 4-year contract is
So in
up.
2018, and the reason I picked 2018 is because you told me you needed some years to recoup. And I thought, let's be gracious, everybody's giving and taking. We'll give you some time before we ask for being brought up to speed, so to speak. But I really think the fair thing is to stay current. If we're gonna wait 4 years, you've increased 2%, let's use 2%. You've increased 2%, 2%, 2%, 2%. Now, we're going into the 5th year, and you wanna give us 2%.
We give you
You've already-
2%?
You've already had 8% the 4 years before. That's like going backwards. If you said we increased 8% over 4 years, that 4 years is gone, you increased 8%. what's wrong with Alloway getting the 8% after that time period. You're not paying us the 8% for the past 4 years that you got the 8%, but you're increasing this 8%, so we're brought up to speed to where you are now. So for that 4 years, you had that raise, and Alloway got no benefit of that raise.
So for the next 4 years, you get, that 8% is locked in? It doesn't go up every year? Is that your picture?
Well, see, that's what I thought you were proposing to us. Instead of giving us a raise every year, we get the same raise, but only every 4 years. You don't get, we're not gonna look at it every year, we're gonna look at it every 4 years. And if it was 8% over the 4 years, Alloway gets 8% the 5th year. So you benefited from that raise for 4 years.
And
Alloway
that,
didn't.
that rate is, the 8% is added on the, just that 1 year, it continues on for the 4, but it's not 8% every year, right, for the next 4 years.
The new rate is 8% higher than it was prior, and
Right.
it continues for 4 years.
Continues for 4 years until whatever change was made. And if there was no change made, there is no change made.
Well, obviously, he can't make decisions, he's gonna bring it in front of this council, so I make a motion, we have our attorney write up what we're talking about and send it over to him.
I need to think about.
Oh, you're not sure about it yet? Oh, all right.
I'm just trying to understand, make sure we're all talking
Yeah,
about the same
basically,
thing.
I just want, I don't want to keep falling further and further behind like we did with the 1988 agreement. Where if we make this agreement and we think it's fair for each other, let's just say that we think it's going to be fair from now on and keep the same agreement. Where the agreement changes every 4 years if you increase 8% and Alloway increases 2%.
I think part of the problem is, obviously we had a large decrease in tonnage, and
Right.
therefore, you guys didn't get as much money. So,
And we know that's how it works.
so,
If I don't sell as many cabinets, or he doesn't do as much plumbing work, he doesn't make as much money. Or Mr. Laurie doesn't. That's how,
he makes plenty either way, so.
well,
But, okay, I get
you
it.
want, it was,
I get it.
So motion that the attorney send him over a new one?
Well, we have to work out what those details are, if we we'll have to talk about that percentage. But we'll get back to you with the agreement. I'm surprised you haven't gotten a letter yet with outlining that. But,
well, our clerk,
that'll happen.
I haven't been informed.
Well, we didn't get a copy of it either, so.
Oh,
Anything?
and just to throw something else out
Sure.
there, the deal of our municipal building trash coming here for
Just that.
zero tipping, we're willing to let that go. We don't need that.
Yeah, you just wanted the same as Cumberland, that's what we get.
Well, I understand that you were trying to be gracious there with that and give us that, but it's not really a benefit to us, so. The only thing I want.
We did the Smith property, right? We took care of that,
Yeah.
or you did, and we
Yeah,
worked
and
with
it
you on
worked-
that.
It worked wonderful. Right now, they do have names of somebody from Delaware, and
Our enforcement's handling it,
Yeah.
we're going through channels, which we appreciate all your help. Our zoning officer, we've had a little bench problem, so people have been out, so we're all kind of covering.
deputy.
Yeah, deputy zoning officer.
Deputy Mayor, oh,
Deputy, not zoning, so I just kind of picked some stuff up, and we've been, with your help and everyone, we've been working together, and, with all the guidance, putting liens and pursuing the ultimate statute from a municipal point of view with our prosecutor.
do you need to know how much it costs to dispose it, so when it goes to court?
I'm not sure, I'm just saying,
I mean, I think we have that if you,
do you have something?
we can get it when the time comes.
That's correct.
Yes,
Okay.
we don't have it right now, but it's
In the locks.
retrievable,
It's retrievable.
yes. Okay. Anything else, correspondence wise, or anything for the board?
Under personnel, did we discuss the offer to Debbie?
Yes, well, yes, we did.
Because I know we had a question about health benefits and pay and the dental gets settled.
Well, it's the one we discussed at the executive session last, that was approved. That's the employment agreement for the position of executive director.
Could you run, or are you allowed to run the numbers right now?
You want
know what the agreement says.
Just the numbers, I don't need the whole resolution. You got so much a year, so many hours,
It's
and
30 hours, it's part-time, which we agreed earlier. The salary is $50,000. If we want to talk about that,
that's good. And health benefits,
there are none.
and vacation pay.
There's 5 personal days, 5 sick days.
I'm gonna go on the record for, I'm not in favor of that, but I know you already voted.
Yep. Okay, public session? Anything from the public? Right, I guess this is, need to open public session. Take a motion to open public session.
Take a motion with you.
Second? All in favor?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're in public session. Any public comment?
Public comment. Ann Sullivan, our attorney and some people in Pearson in this immediate area were trying to work with Verizon, and I know you've had some, this was my question to you, Mr. Schneider. And it said small business. Now, I know SCIA is not a small business, but they're trying to investigate the need for broadband for Verizon. I wasn't sure in your processes with the VoIP and all those other things whether you would be interested in doing that. I wasn't sure. You know, we have a Verizon rep working with the entire census block of Alloway, and we're working with most of the residences, most of the people. And I said, SCIA is also in this area. SCIA is our business. So I wasn't sure whether you were interested in pursuing it or whatever. And it had to do with Verizon broadband, and they needed a certain amount of responses.
I think that,
We use Comcast, right?
where we ended up with, we asked the phone company about
About this?
fiber optics, and they said, no, you don't have anything out here, is, you know, but come to find out, they didn't even know they had the line. There's a line that runs over to the glass. They didn't even recognize they had it. But once they recognized they had it, then we were able to tie ours in with theirs. So, but that's all I know about that. I mean, that there's nothing out here.
And that's exactly what they're saying. So, but they need to have, and there's a form, and we had a very dedicated, intense individual who's right up the street from you, and she put out, you know, she beat the bushes, and she needs people and businesses. And I say, I do not think SCIA is small, because you're my neighbor and you're big. You've got big trucks and you've got a big budget and you've got wonderful people working here. And if, you know, you may not be interested in doing it, but an interest for Verizon broadband is kind of, in case something falls through with VoIP, it's just a question to kind of be on the tab. They need 35 responses. I think they have 6 or 7. And it could be residential and or small business. I wasn't sure. I have a couple emails from different Verizon people. I have Comcast too, so I would love to have an alternative in case this fails. I wasn't sure to whom to send this, Mr. IT or Debbie or Melinda, because I know this, I think I'm on the same track. I've got terrible Verizon service, so I've kind of given
All
up.
correspondence goes to the executive director.
So it should go to the Finlaw building regarding this, I think, because even though, Mr. Burrows, even though that's in Salem,
Correct.
okay.
Do you have anything to add?
We are considered small business. We do have Verizon. When we go to voice over IP, we will still have 2 lines that are dedicated to Verizon after that, because we do have the alarm system for the flare. and
So
the
even with the
garage.
voice over IP, we
And-
still need the,
And our fax as well,
yes.
yeah.
So I will clip
But 3
this out.
lines would be probably more than a resident.
Yeah, but I'm just
You
saying,
know what
they
I
said
mean?
small business, but I think,
But we have that now, right? It's Verizon now, so it's not a new customer.
Yeah, we have Verizon now.
but broadband though, this is for
Um,
broadband.
No.
Okay, I will just
And
forward it.
interestingly enough, we just had a Comcast guy stop in here the other day. So there must be a lot of stuff being stirred up about what you guys need, and I know the service is not good in Alloway.
Well,
so-
there are 10 or 15 people further down the line, and they got together and they put pressure on Comcast, so Comcast did put something there. So they just need, again, in this area, so I will forward this document. Thank you, Mr. Boros, if it's okay. Just, you don't have to take it, but just that you were interested in pursuing, or, you know, there's a need for it. That's what my question to you was, Mr. Schneider, about broadband, not whatever, just, you know, service in general.
We're signing on as being interested, we may or may not take it.
Exactly, and obviously there's nothing there, but Verizon's not offering it till there's a need.
Any
That's
other public comment?
public out.
Hearing none, I'll close the public session. Is there anything else for Authority business, any executive session needed?
No, there's no need, I don't see any need for any executive session.
Okay. So there's no more business, there being none, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.